Hello, my little weirdos. I know you haven't seen me for a few days per se. Um, I've been dealing with a lot of stress. It's a bad year to turn 62, guys. Anybody who's turning 62 this year and being either going, if you're on a social security program like SSI or SSDI or something like that, and you're turning 62 this year and you're moving to social security, keep making sure raspy. I'll get to raspy. You you're not supposed to get kicked off of the SSI until you're on. Well, I turned 62 in February, and they called me. I was going to wait because of everything that's going on. Um, at that point, that's why I didn't go do it myself, because I thought I'm just going to wait and see what happens. Is that all you want, Rappy? Um, but I was. You can't. The local, a lot of the offices were closed, and the numbers sometimes would change. So the only number you can really find easily online, and even caseworkers were with me, as they didn't know these things and all this. You can't even go in there without an appointment, but you can't get a phone number unless you go there to get the phone number, so you can come home and. Mm, um, it's not often that somebody just you could sit there for hours waiting to see if somebody just doesn't show up for their. And I still didn't know what had happened. All I know is they they called me in March, and I said I'd like, with the way everything is, and I was like, it's not going to make a difference. I mean, if it's affected, they're affected. If not, we're trying to get people off of things like Social Security is the last of them that they'll be allowed, to look at. So the supplemental Social Security and stuff like that, they're like, we'll try to get the people off of that. You know what I'm saying? And I kept asking, and I kept saying, don't worry. If anything comes up, I said I won't get kicked off of this. If there's a reason and you need more stuff or anything. Nope, don't, unless we tell you. We all know how the post office is. And when you're in a very huge complex like this, trust me, in just a 10-day period, because I don't check every damn day, because most of the time nothing comes. And I kept checking, so I'm like, whatever. And I think it was like 7 days, it was 10 days, but it was during the Memorial Day weekend, so it was really just 7, something like that. Um, and all of a sudden, a pack is in there. 4 letters from my other neighbors. Um, and then some of the letters are from like May, and they're from like Social Security. I'm like, and this all happened like last Friday. When I finally I'm like, what the fuck? Because on Friday I should have gotten the SSI, because you get that on the first of the month. But if it's on a holiday or a weekend, you get it the first, before the last weekday. And it didn't show up. So I'm like, okay, don't worry. I was told that in Social Security, sometimes it's the 3rd, sometimes it's the 5th. Don't worry. And then Friday, I went and got that stuff. I'm like, holy motherfucker. But it still didn't, it just said, you were denied for your own benefits, Social Security. Another one that said, and these all came at within the same 5-day period, from like months ago. Another one said, they also applied me for my ex-husband. I haven't been married for like decades, and he's been passed for some time too. I was the only one he was ever married to. And so they put me in for his, because his were maybe $100 more than mine a month. I was did not, and they said they didn't tell me why. And so I went online, and I hadn't been on that for so long on my government, on my, Social Security account. It took like a few days to recover, so you could, recover your password and all this crap. And I've also got one or two. Um, I've had people fuck with my bank account and my Facebook, and that's been going on for more than a year. I mean, it started like a year or so ago. So every now and then that happens. I'm on some fucking hacker shit like half the other people in the country. Um, so it doesn't tell me what they need either. I don't have a vehicle. I have my caseworker from Mental Health Association. So I was supposed to see him anyway. I was supposed to have my money. He was supposed to take me to get some things, to dollar store and stuff like that. And then on the 5th, I'm supposed to get my SNAP, which should not be affected. It's not connected at all. But oh, it affected my Medicaid too. I'm kicked off it, but temporarily still because I'm not on any program. But why? You know what I? Oh, do you know what I needed? They needed my marriage certificate, my marriage license, and my divorce decree. I'm like, wait a minute. Number one, why was I kicked off SSI before I was even approved for something else? That's not supposed to happen. Second of all, even if I didn't have those two things, that would be for my spouse, like my beneficiary, like type of stuff. If his is more, they would give me his instead of mine. Um, so I don't need my marriage or divorce thing if I'm applying for my own benefits. What about that one? Why was that denied? And still, why was I kicked off of the one? The one woman on Monday, when I finally got home with the correct number, because the ones they show, they scrubbed a lot of shit. Not the Social Security, the government. I did nothing wrong. I did not miss a letter. Even with the letters that got, delayed and rerouted and had to be, go through like 2 months to get to me, there was nothing in those letters that told me why or what I was supposed to do. So even if I had gotten those letters, it wouldn't have told me anything. The only one that said I was kicked off was I was kicked off FSSI. I'm like, so I'm just waiting, thinking no news is good news. They said if they needed additional, they would tell me. Otherwise, don't worry, things will just transfer over. But that wasn't happening at all. So now I've got, how you have subscriptions. I mean, like for the premium for that, because it takes twice as long. I mean, things from Raspy. I don't know if I think he's just gotten old and he's just really slowed down, and that's stressing me the fuck out too, because he's hardly eating. But he seems alert, so I'm not sure, and that stresses me out because I don't want to think about losing him. I mean, it was just a month ago that he was acting fine, but that happens with people and dogs and cats. Sometimes 1 month they're fine, and all of a sudden, like within 2 weeks, you're like, wow, they're just sleeping all the time. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes it is just age. And I don't even have my money to even see if I can get somebody to get me to take him to a place like one of the rescues to have him checked. You know. It's fucking insane. I don't even have the $24 for Tuesday morning for election here. I'm supposed to be there. And the only way is to do an Uber. And I don't even have that. It's like, are you effing joking me? Absolutely fucking bizarre. Yeah. So just be aware if you're either turning 62 and going from one program to Social Security or something else. Um, I'm not sure if this is just, oh gee, I was a lucky one again, and I just, because the thing is, when I said something to the first woman on Monday, when I came home and called, and that's what I found out. She said, hold on, and she says, well, all we need is, your marriage and your divorce. And I asked her those two things, and she goes, well, yeah, you were kicked off. I said, but you're not supposed to be kicked off. And I said, what? It seems like as soon as I applied for another program, they kicked me off before they even, came to an answer. And she goes, well, that's what I said, because I was talking to my case manager, and even they're apprised of stuff that changes, and even he said that's not because they have to help their clients, and I said even he said that's the way it's supposed to. It's not, you're not supposed to get kicked off. She goes, well, your caseworker doesn't understand what something. I didn't say anything, but I was like that. Nah, that's not right. I was talking to my teletherapist this morning, and she said the same thing. She goes, no, that's not how I understand it, because they have to work with medical plans, and they have to know for their clients, especially the Mental Health Association, how to with all the networks, and they help people fill out forms for all kinds of programs and such, food pantries and just all kinds of programs. So they're supposed to be in the know. And so the one I talked to after I found my papers, I found him. So this morning I called again. I got a fella at the Social Security, and I went through all that, and he goes, no, he goes, I'm not, I see it says that here. He goes, but no, I don't know why she told you that, but I don't know why. It doesn't tell me why you were kicked off SSI. And he goes, you're right. They should have not needed those two documents to qualify you for your own benefits. I don't. He goes, can you hold on for a while? He goes, I know you held on to talk to me. It was like 20 minutes. He goes, I'm trying to find out what is going on here, because I don't blame you for being panicked, because you are correct. You should not have been kicked off of SSI until, I don't know what's happening. And so it was like 20 minutes. He was gone, and he came back, and he goes, yeah, in fact, my air conditioner, I let them know I'm taking a tangent, but I'll get back to it's Social Security. So the air conditioner was out, and it wouldn't, but I had a hole in the screen because of Ryan Reynolds and the squirrel. Yeah. In my window. Yeah. The other day, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go look at the video, Ryan Reynolds tapping at my window. So I had called them after I talked to Social Security, and I called the maintenance. It was like 12:30 or something. It was like the middle of their lunch. So I had them in the maintenance office, and I had told them about the screen, and I said I worked the election. I said I kind of need the window to be able to be open because my air conditioner's out, and it's now starting to get warm. He goes, yeah, okay. He goes, we'll get to you tomorrow. He goes, we might be able to get to you today. I was like, okay. So he looked at the screen to make sure which of the windows, because there's two different window sizes. Okay, he goes, no problem. And he checked the air conditioner, checked the breaker. I was like, yeah, see? And then he took the knob out, the turning knob, and used the needle nose, and it turned on. So I was like, it's stripped out, the plastic on the knob finally. It's old. I've been here nearly 4 years, and it was here before that, with the tenant before, I think the one before. So, and they would have had to come clean the filter and all that anyway. So he comes back about 10 minutes later, and I'm still on the phone with Social Security. That's why they intermingled. And I told the Social Security, hey, while I'm hanging on, I'm just letting you know, if you hear me talking, it's like crazy. And he comes in, he puts the screen, and he goes, okay, he goes, I'm just going to give you a new air conditioner. I said, it's old, and they don't He goes, yeah, they don't know I'm hanging around. So the boss said, he goes, we checked that air conditioner needs to be replaced anyway. That happened 6 months after I moved here. I think I did a video. Um, 6 months after I moved in, the fridge just died. When they have it really cleaned, well, you really can't tell how old it is. And that's what happened with that. They came back with a brand new one 20 minutes later, and they said, boss said that one, it was still working fine when you moved in, so we didn't replace it, but it's on the schedule. If it go not repairing, we just replace it. So okay. So I got a new fridge, and now I've got a new air conditioner used, and it even got in here a little cool, which usually didn't have with the other one, and it's energy efficient. So that's he got all that finished, and I was still, just finished. I had just finished up with Social Security while the guy was putting a new one in. I had to make sure the door, because he had to prop them open, and let the cats get out, and I'm on the phone. But yeah, I just made up. I poached some more haddock, and that smell brought him. So my sister's got me like a those reusable credit card type of things, and loaded it. And she has it. I think through Amazon or something. She has it coming like tomorrow morning for me, so I can at least pay the phone bill because I use Optimum. It's really cheap. It's like less than $20 a month, which you can't get it with any other place. But you really can't talk to anybody. It's online. It's mobile, and so they really don't do, because they have that cheap plan. I guess they don't do extensions or have anything to talk. So I'm like, great, for less than $20, you're gonna shut the phone off, motherfuck. It's very frustrating because it'd be one thing if I neglected to do something and I had gotten something I was supposed to. I was told, but I didn't. I didn't. And that's why it's even more frustrating, because I didn't do anything wrong. And I'm the one that's fucking paying the price by not having money. I'm just praying the snap comes in tomorrow, by midnight. But I really need some cash to get some of those lickable things, because he will eat those. And I'm wondering, sometimes when animals get older, like I said, they just, like, their sense of taste and their sense of smell isn't as sharp, and they kind of lose interest, even people, and you kind of lose interest in eating just because of things don't smell and taste as good. And those lickables have stuff, so it makes them want to eat it. So even if he's eating just that for right now, until I can get this money fixed up. In the meantime, you can't do anything unless you have an appointment. But with its documents, he told me to go in and tell the security officer there that to please bring these back to an agent, because somebody on the phone told me to do that from this office today. Tomorrow, tell them, because on the way back from shopping, we're going to stop by and drop this off. Normally they drop it off and they have you come back for the stuff, because I'm like, don't you mail it? He goes, no, because I want the original so they can get copies. I'm like, he goes, no, and the guy on the phone says, he goes, no, after this, what you've gone through, you have problems with them. He goes, no, we're not going to mail it to you, and we don't need you to come back after we have that. So there's no point, especially if you don't have a car, to have you come back just to pick up documents, and we can't let anybody else pick them up unless you have, He said, so just ask them that I asked you to please just ask an agent. They can look it up real quick, give me your social security number, and just look at them, verify you've got the originals. They can make the copy after they verify. Because somebody just has to see. An agent has to see, oh yes, these are, because I can't give a copy, because I said, so I make a copy? No. So he said, just ask the security officer to please ask an agent because you were told to ask this on the phone, but the guy told you. And I'm hoping they won't give you a lot of hassle because that's going to be a lot easier for all of us. You're not going to have to come back to pick up papers, and it's less we have to deal with, less you have to. Pray it works that way for me tomorrow. Pray my snap comes in. In the meantime, I don't know how much my sister put on a card. I told her some of the things that I needed, like the lickies for him. It's just, I've tried to make it on the blender with like food and the fish I got him to eat. I even used a chicken thigh because it had more moisture than a breast. I poach them and smush them up. And I tried blending it to make that puree like the lickies. It just doesn't have that taste, that scent that attracts them. And unfortunately, when they're older, sometimes you need that extra stinky, and I don't have. Yeah, I did see him drinking this morning out of the faucet and yesterday, so he is dehydrated, and that's why I'm not thinking it's maybe constipation. Maybe he's not pooping because if you don't eat a lot, you're not pooping. I mean, there's times, not to get personal, but there's times I don't realize, did I even eat today? And if I have a few days like that where it's like, oh, and I'll have some cheese and crackers, but I just don't feel like eating. That's another thing. When you're in pain, when you're in chronic pain, and I think he's hurting because sometimes I'll touch it and it'll be like, and it's not by his belly, like if you're constipated. Sometimes it's his shoulder, and he'll be like, so that would make sense. If you're hurting, you don't really feel like eating. I haven't eaten. Did I even eat anything today? I don't even. And I'm not real. My stomach is growling, but I don't even feel like eating. I know, Tom. If you see, you have to eat. I'm going shopping tomorrow, so I'll get some yogurt and stuff like that. That sometimes when I don't have an appetite, sometimes some yogurt or something. It's something. But I get when you're hurting, you don't. And I was going to in my Chewy order, but it has to be delayed because I don't have the money. I was gonna try some supplements like Chewy stuff, and if you wouldn't eat those, I had also ordered some like a capsule I could sprinkle it on type of stuff, so I could sprinkle it onto like one of the lickies or something, and it's like for joint supplements to help. So that might be pain that he's in. It'd be a combination. I mean, he is 14, and I don't want to think about him not just existing. I need to help him, and I can't because of all this Social Security shit. So it's been a lot of stress. And I know I can be intense, and I know when I'm really excited or when I'm really stressed out, it like the vibe oozes out to everybody else. That's why I didn't tell my sister or my brother-in-law anything until yesterday because I didn't know it, until yesterday. Today's Wednesday. Because I didn't know anything until Monday. I didn't know anything. So all of this has been like in just like a 2-day period type of, so it's been absolutely fucking crazy. I did get Raspy out to eat. That's why I kept looking down. He did eat for at least a couple minutes as that fish. I didn't puree it. I just like poached it in water, cooked it in water, just floating in water in the microwave so it's poached. And then break it up without burning your hand up into like little flakes and shit. And so it's got a lot of moisture in it. So while he's eating some of the fish and getting some of it, he doesn't need that much, really. I mean, when you're older. But he needs more than what he's doing. So I don't know how much my sister's put on the card. Hopefully, it's enough to maybe order some of those from Amazon, at least for them. Get it before the election. I'll be happy, and get the snap tomorrow. I can go shopping. So even if I need to buy some stuff like people food that I can make into something, get some more fish. So it's anything that he'll eat for. Because I'm gonna be gone on election day, and then 4 days later it's a protest. This is just didn't fucking say. I was and I wanted to dye my hair. Or, remember I was gonna bleach out my hair. It should be rainbow by now. I was gonna bleach it, just do a little trim up while it's growing out, and then rainbow it. And I can't even do that because I was gonna have to. All I had to do was buy bleach and volume lifter, um, volumizer. The bleach powder and the, you know, developer. That's what it is. The bleach powder and the developer lotion that you use to bleach your hair with. I know, it's just incredibly aggravating. Everything was planned. I had made sure I had gotten all the colors over the last few months, and all I needed was to get the bleach this month. And uh, so I'm just a fair warning for anybody that's changing from one kind of social security to another this year. Right now, don't believe them because they don't all tell you this bright stuff. Um, I believe the guy that I talked to this morning more than I believe the gal from Monday because he had me hold for like 20 minutes because he kept saying no. He goes, you still with me? I'm like, yeah, I'm here. He says, I don't know why. I don't know why. It shouldn't have happened, and I can't find a reason. It just not, you're just off it, and there shouldn't be a reason. I guess he looked at, the application, he goes, there's nothing that you should have been kicked off of. That's why I kind of believe him, and I think the girl, the lady, the woman I talked to on Monday, I think she just didn't want to fucking admit, because some of the calls they were recorded. I guess she just didn't want to fucking admit we fucked up, man. I don't know why, because maybe she was afraid. Because I was panicked. I was pretty panicked Monday. I was trying to hide it, but I was seriously pulling down a panic meltdown because I was just like, fucking A. I did everything that, oh my God, and I think she was afraid I might have blown on her. I might have been Karen or something. I don't know. Like I said, when I'm really a high emotion, either happy or upset, I can be into, and when I'm upset or, and it's real, it doesn't happen. But if people feel it, apparently. Um, so it's like great. And that's kind of why when I'm under a lot of stress like that, I'll withdraw a little bit because I can hide it per se, not talk about something. But if it's that high like it was, I'm so panicked. I mean, you can imagine the fucking panic. There's no way to contact. There's 3 hours on the 800 number, the one that you can only find online. It's a 3 hour fucking. Your phone hangs up before then. It gets disconnected. Something. Oh my God. And I think she knows that it's chaos. And she probably didn't see a reason either why I was kicked off of the one before I approved of the other, nor why I wasn't approved for my own. And I think she just didn't want to tell me. The words, I don't know. It doesn't say. Because I would have a legitimate reason to lose it. Not that that would help it. But I mean, that's a legitimate reason for a customer to say, "What the fuck do you mean?" There's no reason, it just did. So, I mean, I get why she lied and said, well, I guess he doesn't know. I was like, so what? They're changing rules and they're not telling anybody? Since when did, you know? So maybe she figured, I better not say anything. She's going to scream at me or something. I don't know. That's a feasibility. Yeah, I mean, it's possible that she was telling me the truth and he wasn't. But I think it's more. I was a lot more panicked on Monday when I called her. Because at that point, I still did not know why it wasn't approved, let alone why it was kicked off. She's the one who told me I needed those two things. And the guy verified it today. He goes, no, he goes, that's from what I see, that is those two things. If you have those in your possession, bring them in to us. He goes, because I don't want to do appointments. We don't have appointments for weeks. He goes, and this is not something that should wait. I said, because it wasn't. He goes, yeah, because this is something that shouldn't have happened to begin with. So we need to get this fixed immediately. He goes, we need to expedite this because this shouldn't have happened. I was like, well, thank you, because I was feeling like I was in fucking crazy town, like in Zoolander. I'm like in crazy town. It was like, even my case manager, my therapist, they're like, no, that's not how it's supposed to work. I was like, that's what I thought. But I'm being told no. You know, until I called the guy today. And I told him, he kind of chuckled. I said, it's like, I was like, are we all fucking insane? Or did they change the laws and not say anything? Or what? He goes, no, nothing was changed yet. He said, yeah. I said, so why? He goes, I don't know, but we need to get this fixed and expedited. I'm more believing him than her. I think I was just at a higher panic state, and it wasn't just frustration, it was panic, because I didn't know what had happened at all, about why, at least I had that information, yeah. So, I'm not saying if you have to deal with Social Security or change from one program to another, that it's going to happen to you. Apparently, it's not supposed to, even now. That's all I can tell you. I'm just trying to tell you the whole story, so there's not like, well, what that's all of that I know. That's why you haven't seen me, because seriously, before I figured out, I still had some haddock frozen, or cod. They were square, those rectangles. You get at the food pantry sometimes. Good thing I grabbed them a couple months ago, because it's the only thing he's been wanting to eat. Chicken, and usually they don't. He likes regular canned food, and I'm noticing if it's warm, he doesn't like the fish if it's room temperature, but if it's warm, and we all know when you warm something, the aroma has more, right? It smells more, and it increases taste. And I think that's why I'm thinking that it's just maybe he's either getting older or he's hurting, because I know he was not treated well as a stray. Definite signs of PTSD. You've heard me say this before. I owe so much to that cat, and I don't want to lose him. I'll never be ready to lose him, ever. But Smudgy won't be well either if we lose him. So, he's what I'm most worried about. It's been crazy, guys. It's been crazy. I just love my cat so much. He deserved a better, start in life. So I'm gonna go. I just had to let you guys know what the hell was going on. I've been, you know, looking at um at the social media, following up and stuff, but it's hard to watch without premiums. Pain in the ass with the ads. But that'll get fixed when all this shit gets fixed. But depending on what my sister was able to send me, because I told her I'd be paying them back. It's not. It's just a loan, until this gets fixed. It's getting paid back. Because I did ask Social Security. I was like, this is not. You're not gonna like prorate the month or anything. Like I'm gonna get retro, right? I'm gonna get all because I owe rent for this month. You can't just like. He goes, no, 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 no. We're not gonna make you like you didn't get a month of pay somewhere. We'll make sure it's caught up. I'm like, because I can't take any more than that. But the thing I'm mostly stressing about right now is Raspy. And I don't have the money to buy some things to see what works for this new situation. Because it's a new situation. Um, Hell, if I have to cook and make things warm every day, I'll fucking do that. Whatever he eats. Whatever. But even she doesn't eat near as much as she used to. When I open a can, they used to finish it between a half, split the can between them and they finish it. And I've noticed in the last, few months, neither one of them are felt. There's food left in the bowl till it gets dry. You know what I mean? They're not eating as much to begin with. I have noticed that. And it did occur to me that it's very possible maybe Raspy went to jump down or something during the night or whatever, somewhere along the line, and maybe hurt himself or something, and it just takes a while. Sometimes that takes weeks to heal. That's a possibility. Your shoulder or something. And if you're hurting a lot with no pain relief, you don't feel like eating. I'll just eat just enough to get to live. Which would mean why I don't see him in the box. But it's stressing me. It's stressing me, a lot. Him is stressing me. It's him because I'm stressing about, is he okay? Is it just a new phase and I have to deal with it? You fellow pet lovers, you'll know what I'm saying. But the screen's fixed and got a new air conditioner, so that works. Up until today, it was like I was seriously. If I seen panic now, multiply this about 10 times, and that's the mode I have been trying to tamp down for the last several days since Friday. Actually, it is several days because today's Wednesday. Um, and like I said, I didn't mention it to my sister or family because until yesterday because I didn't know anything. I was just waiting, like they told me to. If you don't get anything in the mail saying to do this or that, then it'll just switch over. And I was just on pins and needles, because I didn't get an award letter or anything like that saying, yeah, it's been switched over. And why stress them out if I don't know what I need to worry about? You know what I'm saying? So that's why I kept it to myself. There's no point in, and that's why I told her, that's why for the last week or so I haven't reached out too much to them, text or anything, because I know that stress will come out and they'll ask questions to try to help fix it for me, and I don't know any of the answers and I can't reach any. That's why I didn't say anything. They're busy. Even on their days off, they have shit to do and appointments and stuff. But when the shit didn't show up, that's when I was like, okay, something's wrong. So just please be aware. And even when you ask questions and double ask and double triple check, and it, sometimes you're still not getting the correct information, and this shit can happen. So let my stress and panic be a forewarning that I'm not saying it will. I could be one of the few that fucking got glitched. Who knows? Because my birthday was in February, and they did call me at the beginning of March. So that was right when all the shit was just all coming down and happening. So things were, then they weren't, then they were. Yeah. Um. So I don't want to like trip anybody out that has to switch anything, but just be aware, because I was just doing what I was told by them, and apparently between the post having to rely on the post office and uh, agencies that their rules are being changed without them even knowing it. Um, it's it's a sticky wicket for you. So, and I'm absolutely qualified, and I'm going through this. I can imagine the questionably qualified people for things, how, and the people that have less of a, I have a pretty thick tolerance for drama and trauma and freaking challenges and astronomical what the fucks in your life. I mean, when this therapist first started with me, and I said, I'm gonna tell you now, and it sounds like, oh, she has a victim complex thing, but over time you will see. And told her that, and the other thing is, for some shit, electronics, I affect sometimes. Again, when I'm very intense, sometimes it's weird. It's fucking weird. You laughing now? I can feel you all laughing. Last few weeks, 3 weeks ago, I was stressing a little bit about, I don't know what's happening, and twice, their the program that they use for the teletherapy glitched, and we had to restart. And she said, "This never happens. The only time it rarely happens, and when it does, it's with you." I said, "I'm not doing anything to you." She goes, "I know." And she has mentioned that over the last year and a half or so. So it's not my imagination. I am not in Crazy Town. That shit happens. People used to laugh all the time. It's like, oh, this fucking, what's with you and my mopeds always with doing weird shit, and what's with you in this? And I am not doing anything. I'm doing the way I'm supposed to do it. I don't know what it did. You know, the kind of lights that are energy saving, like the highway lights and stuff. At least they had them in Arizona. That they're off unless they're needed, and you're supposed to, as you come in, the light goes on, and as you leave, that one goes off, the next one comes on, so it's not constant waste. It happens the opposite with me sometimes. When I get into the vicinity of that field, the light dims. It 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 doesn't get bright, and then when I get away from it, it gets brighter and then goes off. That happened a few times in my life, and I'm just like, isn't it supposed to be light when I'm near it so I can see? Yeah, yeah. I wish somebody could explain that to me. Because it's not just me. People have seen it. Other people have experienced it with me. And it's funny because while we're rebooting, I'm like, I'll dial it down a little while we're reconnecting. She goes, okay, explain that to me, guys. Which is why I didn't make videos big time like me, like this, like I normally do. And why I didn't reach out to my sister or anything, because until I knew exactly what was happening, what was anybody else going to do if I didn't know what to do? How are you going to help if they don't know how to help them? She couldn't have done it. What can we do to help? I don't know. What'd you talk to me about? So please, 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 if you're doing anything like that, double, triple, quadruple check shit before it gets to this point. The one good thing was it wasn't like packed, crowded, and part of that is because most 99.9% of the people there are there for a specific time for an appointment, so it's not like they're all waiting for first come first serve type thing. I mean, they're not serving anybody without an appointment unless somebody, like I said, cancels or is late or something that isn't there, or they've got extra time, you know, because somebody there was maybe one or two of their appointments were shorter than expected, and they had some extra time, and they'll see if there's anybody out there that has no appointment. But you could be waiting there all day and not get called, so that's not an option. Especially when you don't have your own fucking vehicle. I mean, it's certainly not an option. So, not here. So, I'm gonna go try to chill out for the rest of the evening. I'll probably watch a movie or something because watching YouTube with the ads and shit is just annoying as hell. So you guys have a good evening, and hope that explained everything and what the hell's been going on and where the hell is Judy. Unfucking believable. And if they weren't pecking around in the government and all this shit, it probably wouldn't have happened to me. It's just that everything's being touched and mauled and shielded, and, you know, it's like shit's bound to fucking go wrong. Peace out, guys.